I'm worried about what's going to happen to me when I die. Not so much whether there is an afterlife or not, because I mean, if there isn't, then I'm just going to be dead, and that's that. And I'm not really going to care much because I'm not going to be alive for it. So I'm more worried about what's going to happen to me in that afterlife. Like, if there's heaven and hell, and I'm not good enough to go to heaven, so I go to hell. I'm curious about what's going to happen there.
But how bad is hell really? Because I've always been told that hell is this horrible place of fire and pain and torture, but that doesn't really make sense. Because Satan is a bad person, and the people who go to hell are bad people, so won't they have a similar idea? Like the people in hell are the worst people. Your murderers, your drug users, people who pirated movies. And now they're all in the same location. So I feel like someone who's okay with these things happening isn't going to punish these people. They're going to have a great time together. Like, I imagine hell as some sort of crazy rave. Like, everyone's doing Molly, they're dancing, there's crazy strobe lights, and why would you not want to be there? Especially when what I think of heaven, because heaven is this place where all the good people go, all the people who didn't do the things that the people in hell did. So I imagine it being kind of boring, you know? I imagine hell is like some bougie country club where everyone's just sitting around eating boiled goose. Because that's all they do in heaven. They just sit around because that's what good people did in life, I guess. Or what they want to do forever.
But let's say I am good enough to get into heaven, and it's not some boring-ass country club. What's that gonna be like? People say that heaven is where we get to spend time with our friends and family and those who have come before. And I think that that's a really sweet, touching thing. But what do you do if you're the first of your friends or family to die? Like, do you just sit around waiting for all eternity? Do you sit there watching Earth wanting your friends to die? Because that's kind of shitty, and that might get you sent to hell. And if hell isn't some awesome rave and is instead a place of pain and torture, then that's kind of bad for you. So you're sitting up there in heaven with your great-grandparents, and you have nothing to talk about because you have nothing in common. But you got to break the silence somehow. So you're just like, have you all heard of smartphones? And they haven't, so you use heaven's magic or whatever to summon smartphones, and you show them how it works, and they're like, oh, what's that? And what's the internet? And you have to set all that up for them and explain all that to them. They're probably going to want an Instagram or something, and then you're going to have to help them with that, and that's just a mess. And I don't think that anyone else is going to want that. But what if Christianity isn't right on this? What if it's like Islam? In Islam, they say that if you die a martyr, you have 72 virgins for your use in the afterlife. And I have a couple questions about that. First of all, why 72? Like I understand that number might have a religious significance, but there comes a point where practically that is not helpful. I feel like any more than 6 or 7, and it becomes less about enjoying yourself and more about scheduling and spreadsheets and remembering people's names. Because here's a situation you don't want to be in. You're going to be in the act and be like, oh, Angela, excuse me, I'm Kristen. And, honey, that's not a place that you want to be. And second off, why virgins? Why would you want someone who's never done something doing it for all time? That's like being excited about the fact that your doctor has never done an appendectomy before. It's like showing up in the office like, oh yeah, man don't even know where the appendix is, but he's gonna figure it out on me. I like that. That's also how you end up missing a kidney and still having an appendix. Why are we so obsessed with virgins, you know? I feel like you should be more excited about the fact of being with someone who's good at what they do. It's like being more excited that you're going to a minor league baseball game than going to the World Series. Why would you rather have an amateur than a professional? You know, if I were designing the afterlife, what I'd have? Here, let me tell you. I'd have 6 hookers. Because they're professionals. They know what they're doing. They're dedicated to their craft. They spent years perfecting what they do. And they can go for all eternity.